Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of No Way Jose, starring Jose Raymond, the Boston Mass, who was the 2015 Arnold Classic 212 champion. Who better to talk about the upcoming Arnold Classic than the man himself, Jose Raymond? What's up, Jose?
How you doing?
Doing well, sir.
Who better? Who better? Someone who knows what the hell they're talking about. I just spit out nonsense.
No, man. I love you have insights and opinions that I could not get from anybody else. That's why I love doing these with you. So this is an interesting Arnold. Obviously, it's much later in the year than the Arnold usually is. I love it. Smaller version of the Arnold. It's only 4 divisions and no expo, which I love. I can get the hell in and out of there, and it's going to be a lot easier. But also, we have only one previous Arnold Classic champion going into the show this year with William Bonac, 2-time champ. Last year, we had Bonac, Dexter Jackson, Cedric McMillan, and Victor Martinez, all champs. So different field this year, but still a very strong field. I want to start off talking about Bonac because on paper, that's the favorite to win because he's won it twice already, and he's beaten pretty much all these guys competing at one time or another, if not multiple times. So is he your favorite to win, or is he just one of several favorites?
No, he's my favorite for sure. Yeah. One, whether he won it previously or not, which he has a different look than everyone else. He has that clean, round, bubbly, mature, huge. I mean, the guy is huge. He's just short. Massive quality muscle that nobody else has. You just know when they walk out on stage, he stands out, and he will stand out more than anyone. And that's hard. Like at the Olympia last year, there was only 3 guys on stage that had that clean look. And in an older Phil Heath still had that clean, crazy look. Yep. Hottie had that crazy clean look, and William Bonac had that same quality of craziness, deep detail. There was only 3 of them, and at this show there's only one of them, and that's him. That's why he is the favorite. He has a special look to him that nobody else has. He would have to be considerably off to lose that look. And because even at 90%, he still has detail that no one else has, roundness that no one else has. That being said, and also a few years ago when he was second to Brandon, his legs were down considerably. I think he had a knee injury, and from what I've seen, his legs have blown back up. He doesn't have that knee injury, or he rectified it, and his legs are incredible again. So that, and I don't think he's 40 years old. I think, what's he, 38?
Yeah, late 30s. And I also want to ask you what you think about, he had no coach last year, I believe, and now he's working with Abdullah Al-Talbi out of Oxygen Gym. Do you think that's, he looked pretty damn great last year winning. Do you think that could help him look even better? Do you think a good coach could make him look 5-10% better than that?
Sometimes having a coach that believes in you and gives you a little more structure than you might have on your own. And some people might have more structure on their own. But having a different eye, a different point of view let's face it, William is one of those guys, like I always said about Flex Lewis. My grandmother could prep Flex Lewis. Anyway, my mother could prep William Bonac. Are you kidding me?
My dog. I always say my dog.
Yeah, exactly. He could live off of Spam and hot dogs and come in looking ridiculous, So I don't think it's going to play that big of a role. Maybe, who knows? But I just think that he's injury-free. And that's more important than who's coaching him. And that his ability to focus and be able to train hard, as hard as he needs to. He's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to beat at this show.
Right.
Just because one, he's physically capable, he's done it before, and he has the name. When you have the name and that title, they immediately look right at you.
Yeah.
They're not going to overlook him, that's for sure.
Yeah,
so they're going to put him in position right away to defend his title, and it's up to him whether or not he lets it slide or he won't. I seriously doubt anyone's going to beat him.
Yeah, I agree. So just to let you guys know, when I go down this list, I'm just going alphabetically. It's not like in order of who I think is going to win or anything like that. Sometimes I do it that way. The next guy is Maxx Charles, who freaked everyone out last year with his conditioning, especially, his chest had like 10,000 striations. His abs had veins on top of veins on top of veins. Very consistent guy, pretty consistent top 5 guy. But I don't know if he's capable of winning a show like this with this kind of a lineup in it.
Yeah. Max has improved. It's wild. He's improved his legs, and he is 40 something, he has made incredible improvements. And the thing is, you talk about that chest. Well, guess what? Bonac has that too. Yeah. Only he's squashed down, and he also has the legs, and also has the glutes, and also has the mid back and the upper back and the triceps and the biceps, and where Max still has some holes, has some conditioning question, and has apparently bad luck with judging, because I think he's been overlooked a few times for sure. You could certainly argue that. Yeah. So I don't see him winning. I see a similar thing happening where you're going to be like, damn, Max looks awesome. And he's getting beat by 3, if not 4 other guys that have, you could have been like, wow. So I unfortunately, I see Max ending up in the 7-8 spot instead of the 3-4 spot where he possibly could. Something very special would have to happen for him to end up in that 3-4 slot. And if everything goes to plan as, all the other names, Max is more in the 7-8-9 spot than he is the 3-4-5 spot, unfortunately. And people are going to call me an idiot for saying that.
Milos will, I guarantee you.
No, Milos understands what I'm saying. Milos will understand that more than anyone. As frustrating as that is, he will agree with me. He's going to say, you're right. By previous judging this year and who's showing up, that's where he's going to end up. 7, 8, 9. He is not going to be 3, 4, 5. No.
Next up, another guy. I don't think he's necessarily going to place that high, but I'm getting more impressed with him every time I see him. From South Korea, Seung Chul Lee. Big dude.
Yeah, I love that guy's photography, trick photography, photoshopping. I don't know that he's photoshopping. I think that just there's some dynamite photos out there that he should just throw away or remove from the internet, because he'd be more impressive just showing up at his best. He's yet to show up in shape. That's the problem. He's got an awesome frame. He's got beautiful shape and flow to his muscle. He's never been in shape, not even remotely. Wow. So I don't even know what to say about him until I see him in shape. His frame is incredible. He can pretty much stand with anyone. The shoulders, the arms, everything. Great quads. But I think he has the typical weakness that a lot of the Asian bodybuilders do, and this is so racist, I'm sorry, is the back. You see Hide from the front lat spread, incredible. Turn around, rear double, you're like, The mid back, they don't have long hanging lats, and that's where he gets beat. He's got great arms, great delts, great pecs, great waistline, great legs, no back. And that's where he gets demolished. And when he has no glutes either, and this is a sport of striated glutes and crazy hard mid back and lumbar and hamstrings, and that's where he gets beat out. Love his physique though, love it. it's awesome to look at.
If we have the balls, one time we should do a show based on like, racial tendencies and physiques.
Stereotype.
Well, I mean, not stereotypes, but things that we've noticed. We'll talk about it later, but I think that would be fascinating.
Stereotypes and tendencies, they all come from somewhere because they're most likely true.
Right.
Lots of them. So me saying it, excuse me, I don't mean to offend anyone. That's not my point here, but it's true. If you look at most Asian bodybuilders, show me one that has big, round, hanging lats.
Show me one that has bad legs. They all have great legs. All of them.
I was just saying that. Show me one that doesn't have thick teardrops in their quads.
Yeah. And calves.
Or really good calves. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what someone told me? I had to take down a post. The Maori sisters, Tia and whatever their names are. They're like 40, 45 years old. The one, Tia and Tamara, they used to have a show years ago.
Yeah.
They look fantastic. There's like not a one. And I posted a picture comparing it to the old stuff. I put black don't crack. I said, and I even said, I don't want to, this isn't meant to offend. It's a compliment. And a white woman, it wasn't even a black woman, posted, all stereotypes are damaging, even positive ones. Like, oh, fuck. I'll just.
Karen needs to sit down. Listen, here's the basic rule of thumb. If you have to start this line with, I don't mean to be racist, or I don't want to offend someone,
don't boast
you're going to offend someone. So you probably shouldn't say it, or just stick to it and say, I don't care. I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings. There's a difference between saying something that might be off-putting and intentionally trying to hurt someone's feelings.
Right.
I'm not going to not say something because someone's going to get hurt by it. But if I think it's a reality and it's, my opinion, I'm going to say it.
God love you. All right, let's move on to Egyptians. One of Egypt's, God, Egypt's killing it lately.
Damn Egyptians.
They are killing it lately.
This is the racist show.
No, but I mean, you know what? If someone said all bodybuilders from Boston are awesome, I'd like, how dare you say that? How dare you stereotype and say we're great bodybuilders?
Yeah, right?
Come on. I'd be like, thank you. So this is Mokhamed El Elam, who until this year, I don't think I even had a clue who this guy was. And then I saw him at Indy Pro, and I've seen him at like almost every show I've been to this year, up and down with condition, fullness, things like that. He's had his ups and downs. I'm sure traveling back and forth because he lives in St. Petersburg, Russia. It's got to be challenging, but very impressed. Big dude, some seriously good body parts, his legs, back, shoulders, chest, a thick guy. I don't see him necessarily in the top 5 for this one, but props for this guy. For that first show was April. Here we are. He'll be on stage and it's almost October by then. What do you think of Mokhamed?
I think he's awesome. I think he lost steam as he went along. His best appearance was that Indy Pro, which arguably it was, pretty close with him and Justin.
Yeah.
He got considerably worse every show. Like I don't know if he wasn't if he wasn't living in one particular spot. He was traveling a ton. He didn't have the comforts of home. Yeah. I don't think he ever quite settled in. Or if even worse, he certainly wasn't flying back and forth from Egypt.
No. He lives in Russia, but still, that's a long, long ways to go.
Right. But he has an awesome structures. His front double's awesome. Yeah. The small hips. He does have distension, but he has really small hips. Yeah. And I think the distension goes away if he's in shape.
He needs to control it. I've seen when he's conscious of it, he keeps it sucked in, and when he's not, there was a couple shots, people, they're merciless now. They'll take pictures of you at every split second you're on stage. I remember the last show I saw him at, it was in Chicago or Tampa, and he walked out and he wasn't controlling his stomach at all. It was fully hanging. I was like, dude, no. This was walking out to his posing routine.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So if, I hope he's taking it to heart, because people have been brutal about it to him. but that's the only way you're going to fix it is if you're like, oh my God, people are talking so much shit about this.
Yeah.
I better not let my gut hang anymore.
He's one that, like, I like to see him just get through this year, however that may be, and then take some time with a real coach that can just get through to him mentally that, like, you don't need to do 8 shows. We're not going to do 8 shows. Like you're going to take a good off season, take a break, clean out your system, get healthy, and then go balls to the wall for 1 show and nail it. If this guy nails it 100%, he can win pretty much any show. Like, he's that good structurally, muscular. He's a big dude. He's got it all. He's not missing anything. His legs are awesome. He just needs to nail it 100%. Yeah. And when he does, he'll do it. All this, he's not good enough on a consistent basis to be doing all these shows.
Right.
Because he just got worse. You know? He needs to, like Hassan Mostafa is a completely different animal altogether. He can do all those shows because he's got too much muscle. And if he loses some, well, thank God he lost some muscle. Yeah. And, you know, where the other guy, he just got softer. Yeah. Elaman.
Let's talk about Hassan, because he's another great Egyptian. And we've been talking about him several times this year, because he's done, God, this must be his like 6th or 7th show. He's done like every damn show. And I keep looking and hoping and praying for that conditioning that'll put him over the edge, because so much muscle, so much round, full, hanging muscle on that body. I said, man, if he comes in lean, but I need like another 10-15% condition to really bring all that stuff out, because he doesn't have, you know, some poses doesn't have the prettiest shape and structure in some poses, but I don't think it would matter if he was really, really dry, grainy, diced.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and it's so bizarre. You think if he just got shredded, if you just sucked him down, you could starve him, you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah.
There isn't much of a difference. I've seen him at one show this year at 256. I seen him at the last show he did at 276.
Wow.
And honestly, and some were arguing he was harder at 276. He was in better condition.
Wow.
You know, so you don't know what to do with this guy. I think he has a medical condition, something where he's just growing nonstop. You know, and you try to suck him down.
Wow. Yeah. And
all you're doing is pulling some water out of him, and he doesn't even look that much better. And he's still growing in the meantime while you're feeding him a bikini diet. And then you're like, screw it. I'll just give him a high day, one high day. And he's up 25 pounds.
Jeez.
I'll get pictures of him. I'm like, holy shit, what is wrong with him? He's like 286 here.
Wow.
At a week out. I'm like, I thought you were sucking him down. I was. You know, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't begin to make sense with the guy.
Oh, he's 5'9" on a good day, I think.
No, wrong.
You don't think he's that tall?
Way.
It's getting harder for me to tell because I'm getting
shorter than you.
No, he's not shorter than me.
Yes, he is.
I've stood next to him many times. He's not short. Let's give him
he's
5'8",
5'7.25".
No, I got to give him 5'8". I got to, because I'm like 5'7.5" now. I've shrunk. He's at least. I got to give him 5'8".
Are you going to the Arnold?
Yes, absolutely.
Go walk up to him barefoot, because he'll likely be barefoot, and you'll be amazed. He's shorter than you, no doubt.
Yeah, but wow, let's say he is 5'7" and 276, 280. My God.
Easily.
Ridiculous.
He's the biggest human on the planet right now. Like he's bigger than Rami. He is. He just doesn't have those shoulders. You know, the shoulder structure.
Yeah.
He is bigger, like per square inch, he's bigger than Rami.
Oh, he is. Absolutely. He's so big, he looks like he's flexing all the time, even when he's just kind of totally relaxed.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. It looks like he's going to fall over. Like he looks exhausting being him.
Yeah.
Every step is a lumbering, like he needs help just walking around.
Yeah.
He's so large.
These are compliments, These are compliments, Hassan, and fans of Hassan. These are compliments. We're speaking nice things about him. So the next guy, probably the heaviest guy on stage at this show, I think, is probably going to be last year's 4th place. Haven't seen him on stage since then. Steve Kuclo, the King Snake. Steve needs this win if he wants to go to the Arnold. That's the only way. The Olympia. It's the only way he can get into the Olympia. Desperately wants to win this. Can he win it, Jose?
Yeah, he can win it. But of course, a lot of things need to fall into play for that to happen. But one, he has to be at his all-time best. I wasn't in Texas. I don't think that was his all-time best. I think it was his all-time biggest. And it was a snapshot of what is possible, because he's still growing for some damn reason. Like, I think he was close to 290 on stage in Texas.
Yeah.
And he was in damn good shape. From what I'm understanding, he could have been a percentage tighter, drier, sucked out a little more. Right. And so if he was 290, 291, back down to 285, and you might have nailed it. And I don't know if these numbers are 100% correct, but I'm just going by visually and what he would need to do. He would really need to be inside out, like every last aspect of him really dry, because then he could overwhelm people. His structure, his height, he's a good poser. He displays that physique. He keeps his midsection controlled. He's very professional, very polished in every aspect. So he could outdo people in that manner. But as big as he is, he can't out-muscle Bonac. He can't out-muscle Akim. He can't, he's not the biggest guy. And say he is the tallest, widest, heaviest.
Yeah.
But he's not the most muscular guy on stage. There's 2 or 3 other guys that are more muscular than him. Yeah. So he has to nail them with polish and presentation and his good looks and his, everything has to be 100%. And it's a fine line, because in his mind, he's like, I got to be as big, or if not bigger than these guys. So I got to hold the fullness. I got to be bigger. And just by trying to hold that fullness, he loses on the sharpness.
Right.
So something's got to give. He's got to be drier. And that's the only reason. He wasn't smaller than Iain.
No.
Iain beat him because he was more polished. He was more dry inside out from every angle. And I guarantee you, had he been the drier one in Texas, in his hometown, he would have beaten Iain. And he wasn't. So this is another guy who could be as high as winning, but I see him more likely in the 4 or 5 spot.
Okay.
Just because there's so many names in this show.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the next one. Sergio Oliva Jr., who Steve beat last year. It was very, very close, 4th and 5th place. It's not like it was for the win. So I wasn't that concerned about it. But Sergio has been working hard this whole time, trying to make improvements, keeping kind of quiet. But he has a lot of the same strengths as Kuclo. Big dude, tall, wide clavicles, a lot of muscle on Sergio. I'm really curious to see what a year and a half, because it's been over. By this point, it'll be over a year and a half since we've seen Sergio on stage. Have you been following? Does he look like he's improved to you?
Oh yeah. I love Sergio. I think between the 2 of them, Sergio has improved more than Steve has. I think Sergio has put on more muscle. He's bigger. He's rounder. He has a different look to him than he has previously. He's improved his back, which was his biggest weakness. His legs are awesome. His legs are huge. His arms are huge. His pecs are fuller. His back is fuller, which really changed the look on his physique. he kind of has that long torso, but it's not as bad now. I see his pics every couple days. His back has improved so much that the torso thing doesn't stand out to you as much anymore. So if my only concern would be, can he nail that condition 100%? And maintain what I'm seeing as a lot of new tissue. I think if he can, then he can beat Steve. He has a little more bubblier look to him now than Steve does. Like Steve reminds me of like a giant football player that got pretty, made that physique polished and pretty. But he doesn't have the bubbly, super round muscle of other guys, of certain guys. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got one of the best physiques in the world. I'm just saying, compared to Bonac, who looks like a bag of bubbles. It's just a genetic thing. And I think Sergio leans more towards that bag of bubbles look.
Right.
He's really round right now. But who has a history of more consistent conditioning? I would say Steve. He has a history of being professional. He hasn't missed his mark by much in a very long time.
True.
Steve, even while growing.
Yeah, I'm really he's one of the guys I'm really looking forward to seeing. A, because it's been so long, and B, because I know how bad he wants this win. Really.
Yeah, that's something that really impresses me too with Sergio. For all the nonsense and the back and forth and the social media talking, he is committed to his craft as much as anyone, and he's got a fire inside him that most people don't understand. And I love that about him. And he works very hard. And the proof is in the pudding. He's made leaps and bounds of improvements. I'm, to be honest, that's the one I'm most excited to see. And I want to see him next to Kuclo because they're both 6 feet tall, 280 pounds. That's exciting. I if it comes down to swag and who can put on a more entertaining show, then Sergio's going to win. If it comes just down to pure polish, then Steve could win. It's exciting. I don't even care who wins this show. I want to see these matchups within the matchups. Right.
Yeah, it's like I have no. People say who's going to win. I'm like, dude, I have no idea. So next up, a guy no one's really talking about for the win, but he's been very consistent. Justin Rodriguez started the season off with his, I believe that was his first pro win at the Indy Pro. And very, very impressive at that show. Like you said, Mokhamed almost beat him there too. But man, Justin's got some beautiful shape on him, plenty of size, still has a small waist, and the conditioning is very, very consistent in the last few shows I've seen from Justin.
Yeah. He's incredible. By himself, he looks like an Olympian, by himself. Then when you break it down and you put him next to bigger, there's some gaps in there that, especially if he's even remotely off condition-wise. He has some of the best biceps going.
Dude, they go over his head.
Yeah. But then, he has a smaller tricep. He has I don't even want to say small quads, but he has a long femur, long thighs. So they're hard to fill out. It makes his legs a liability. He ends up with crazy striated glutes, but his hamstrings and calves are lagging compared to Hunter, and his back is as wide as anyone. He's one of the only people that could stand next to Rami and not get absolutely dwarfed. But it's a bizarre physique because he's so wide that he looks like he still has some meat to fill in there.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then again, if he's not 1,000,000% on, he has a weird distension in the front. So it's like these strengths become liabilities for him. His midsection is awesome. He's got great abs. That front double is insane. But if he hits it wrong, it immediately becomes a liability like it was. There's no reason for him to lose a front double to Nick Walker. And he did. He did every time.
Wow.
So that explains what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Like when he's by himself and he's calm and relaxed and he hits a front double, it's nutty looking. It's like Victor Martinez, beautiful shot. But then you put it next to Nick, who's just a, and Nick beat him.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
I think here's the thing. For all intents and purposes, Justin is still very young to this sport. He's still learning. He's still getting better. And he can fix a few things and be a top 5 Olympia guy in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't even know how old he is, but his physique is that impressive if he makes the right fine-tunement adjustments. What I don't like is, we'll get to him too, Akim, is that this coach hopping shit. Like they're jumping from coach to coach to coach to coach to coach. By the time someone figures out something on you've gone to the next one.
Yeah.
You don't have time for these guys to figure you out. So you're just kind of going back and forth and coming in okay. Like you should be 100% nailed it and really to see where you belong. Because right now I don't know where Justin belongs in this whole lineup.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, he's going to be outside of the top 6, but he shouldn't be.
I mean, this is a pack. We hate that term stacked, but this is a stacked lineup. There's a lot of really good guys. So going on to the next guy, this Iain Valliere from Canada, coming off 2 wins. He beat Kuclo in Texas. Got sharper from 1 win in Tampa to that. He puts up, his coach puts up pictures every day. Patrick Tour, he puts up pictures every day. Looks rock hard, ready to step on. Every day he looks like he could step on stage that day, which some people that would be disastrous, but it doesn't seem to be a problem for him to maintain that super, super lean and dry condition for long, long stretches of time. I think for a lot of people, Iain is a dark horse to win this. I know you could pick his physique apart in some ways, but he's also got some really strong points to his physique. What are his chances? What are Iain Valliere's chances?
Very good. 1, he's got momentum. 2, he's a hungry young kid. Well, he's 30, but that to me
that's a kid.
Yeah. He's hungry and he's living the life. Now, I hope the recent events don't sidetrack him too much. And that's hard to say because, that's an emotional, stressful situation he's in. God bless him and his family. I hope, that they can get through this quick, easy, and relatively unscathed. He has a very bright future and he's been doing incredible, and momentum is everything heading into these big shows. So yes, on paper, Iain should be a favorite to win. That said, he hasn't stood next to Bonac yet. And I think he's going to get every opportunity to prove himself. That's what I will say. Because just like us, the fans, the media, the judges are equally as excited to see Iain Valliere next to these guys. So they're going to be like, all right, Iain, what do you got for us? Come out. It's like Christmas morning. You kids out there and you're like, and they're either going to be like, yeah, or like, holy shit, look at this,
Yeah.
And they're going to get him right next to the top names immediately. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to walk out in his quarter turns. Valliere, who's Valliere going to stand next to? I don't know alphabetically,
Yeah.
But his quarter turns are some of the best in bodybuilding. That's his strength. And that's something people overlook when they're like, oh, how the hell did Ian beat Kuclo? How did he, his quarter turns are some of the best in bodybuilding. His width, the way he hits them, the quad sweep from the side, the tie in to his hip, he looks bananas in those. So that's what gets him the call out right away. So when they go back to the 3/4 line in the back and the judges are going over who they're going to bring out, I guarantee you Ian is one of the first names to come out.
Yeah.
And then it's up to him to do what he's got to do in the other poses that I wasn't so impressed with, the front double, the rear double, everything else. His side tricep is incredible. His lat spread, his front lat spread, he has all the weapons and the tools to be right there, top two. Even winning if Bonac for some reason doesn't nail it.
Yeah. Assuming Steve is the head judge, this is what I feel like I'm going to hear on Saturday. It's going to be because he doesn't go in the middle. He just reads names. He'll be like William, Steve, Sergio, Ian, Nick, Akim, Roelly. I think that's first call out. So that's just my prediction. I won't be off by much. Trust me, guys. So that brings us up to the favorite to win for everyone out there who is 25 years of age or younger, Nick Walker, the mutant. They love this kid. And he's a bodybuilder. He's massive, granite hard, still a young guy, having fun with the sport, a lot of personality. I could see why he's a huge fan favorite. And his fans, the Mutant Nation, they really believe with all their hearts he's got this show wrapped up. It's a tough show. But could young 27-year-old Nick Walker walk away with this?
Absolutely. He said 25 and under. I'm 46 and I love the kid.
Oh yeah, I love him too.
He's one of the biggest breaths of fresh air in the industry right now. He takes what he does very seriously, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. Like he has fun. He's a joker. He's a total clown. And the things he says, and he's just awesome. I love him. And that said, his physique is just he is a mutant. He is as big as anyone, and he is finally learned all the minutia of bodybuilding that really matters. Anyone can be big, anyone can eat a lot and lift heavy weights and do what it takes to get big, but can you fine tune and really do those things, all the hours of practice and posing and his presentation, which he's done, which he has really nailed and learned to master. His condition, I call it right now, like his rear double is unbeatable at this show.
Wow.
Unbeatable. I think, honestly, if everyone's 100%, that he's top 3 right away. Boom. Yeah. Right away, because he's too big, too conditioned, too muscular. It's a bodybuilding show. It's not a runway model show. It's a bodybuilding show, and nobody has more muscle than the mutant. The only one that has more muscle is Akim and Bonac, and I would see him top 3 with those 2 guys. There's no reason that Nick can't be top 3. And if I were him, I would be saying the same things. Yes, I'm coming to win. Nick does not get out of bed for second place. He's training to win. And that is the only mindset he should have. He has the perfect mindset. It sounds funny, when he says it, because he's so young and relatively new. But what are you doing here? Why would you don't do pro bodybuilding to lose? You don't put your body through what you're doing to lose. He has the perfect attitude, and don't be surprised if he is knocking on the door, if not winning. I
No,
think out of all those names, he's the one that is the most dangerous.
Yeah. Well, we just mentioned Akim. Let's get to Akim. Akim was top 60 Olympia last year. He's moved up. He qualified with a win already for the Olympia at the Puerto Rico Pro. Yeah, it was called Puerto Rico Pro in the Bahamas a couple months back. But when we just talked about coach hopping, he was with Oscar Ardone. Then he went to Justin Miller, did that one show and one with Justin. And then next thing I know, I see on his Instagram, he's working with Abdullah out of Kuwait, the Camel Crew. I'm curious to see what happens with Abdullah and him, because the first time he went out to Kuwait, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, he came back to New York to supposedly win the New York Pro, and he was way off. But that was a different time. It was years ago. I'm really curious to see if the new coach makes a difference for the better, for the worse, no difference at all. Because Akim's here, he's not in Kuwait or anything. So yeah, but yeah.
What I've found with Akim is he's done better with people who are physically with him every step of the way. When he was training with Oscar, and he was training with Justin, these people were right on top of him, who genuinely had a genuine investment in him. He has done very well. Now, Abdullah is in Kuwait, has a shitload of other clients. I don't know how genuine the investment is. I think it was a bad move. And he might tell me to fuck off. I don't. If he would ask me, Justin is one of the fucking coolest guys in the industry. He loves Akim. I don't know what went wrong or if anything went wrong. He just wanted to go somewhere else. But I would have, if I was him, I would have stuck with Justin, who was just figuring him out, and who's there, who's right down the street. They can go meet up whenever they want, for him to see him in person. And he just won a show.
Yeah, and he was bringing him he was having him train with George Peterson for back day every week. He was having him come up to Bev's and train back with him to get his back, hopefully a little more detail in his back. That's the thing.
Ron.
Yeah.
I don't think Akim needs anyone to train with. I don't think training with George is going to, Akim's back is stupid. I don't think I think it's more the ability to see him make changes on the fly. You know what it's like. When I was training with Nate on a regular basis, when he's prepping, I can see things on a daily basis that an iPhone is not going to show you. Things I can see, how he's walking, how he's breathing, how he's talking, and make a change on the fly that you just can't do from Kuwait. It's. I would way prefer, if I had a say in it, I'd say, Akim, stay with Justin. He's going to see you way more often. You guys can team up and come to conclusions together. You know enough about your body now, through years and years and years of training and doing this, that they would have figured it out. They would have brought him to his best better than what's going on a million miles away in Kuwait.
That's pretty far. So the last guy we want to talk about in the Open, if you would ask me at the Chicago Pro, what are Roelly Winklaar's chances are at the Arnold Olympia this year, I'd be like, he's so screwed. He's done. He was just downsized. It looked like something was really wrong with him, like health-wise, or just, maybe his physique was just starting to go on him because he's 44 now, I think. But Roelly did pull it together just 2 weeks later at the show in Spain, 2 or 3 weeks. He got a lot of that size back somehow, and it still wasn't the Roelly that we know and love, the Roelly that was third place 2018 at the Olympia, but well on his way back. And that was over a month ago now. He's had more time, and I don't, his story was that he couldn't train. The gyms were shut down in his island, Curacao. And, I was kind of like skeptical. Like, this sounds fishy, but maybe that was the case. Maybe he just needed to be a little more training time. I haven't checked any pictures lately, but if he's back to the typical Roelly Winklaar form that's been top 5 at the Arnold Olympia many, many times, he could win this thing too.
I think Roelly's chances of winning this are about as good as my chances were winning in 2018 at the Olympia.
Oh.
Not very good.
Oh.
I was 5th, which was a generous offer for me, saying goodbye. I think Roelly's in the same stage of his career where, yeah, he's Roelly Winklaar. The guy is a freak. He's the beast. He's one of the best of this generation. He's still good enough. A weak Roelly Winklaar is still good enough to be first call out, top 6. I don't see him any better than that. These are some young, hungry, fresh. That's the key. Fresh, brand new. I don't think he's going to beat Iain. I don't think he's going to beat Akim. I don't think he's going to beat Bonac. I don't think he's going to beat Nick. I don't think he's going to beat Hunter. Is Hunter in this show?
No.
I don't think he's going to beat Steve. So, like I said, I got a generous parting gift in 2018. I think I belonged to top 5, which I was.
Yeah.
But I think he'll get a generous parting gift of top 6 because he's that good. Because a 44-year-old, slightly injured, not at his best, Roelly is still better than Bieke or he's not doing it either. And this lineup isn't weak, and that's why I say, it would be impressive if he was 5 or 6 in that area.
Okay. Yeah.
I think 44 years old, especially when your strength was not being polished like Kamal. Kamal never won shows because he was the biggest beastly animal freak. He won because he's beautiful. His shape is polished. And Roelly has won his career by being mind-boggling, and at some point your body cannot handle the rigors of being that beast. And at 44 years old, he's at his limit. That's it. I don't know what he could do at this point. Nathan beat him 4 years ago. Nathan wouldn't have been close. Nathan in the Arnold too? No. Yeah. Roelly, I love the guy. Love him. He's a great guy. It sucks to be the guy sitting here talking about, because I hated it. I hated it when people would talk shit, but they were right. Like Jose's old, he's broken down. If he makes top 5, good for him. And that's kind of where we're standing. And I'm the asshole having to say it. I wish I didn't have to. A lot of these guys are gonna be like, he's an asshole. Why is he? But I'm just
being real.
saying,
you're being real.
Yeah. And Roelly is not 38. He's not at his best, at his peak performance. Will he look awesome for a 44-year-old guy? Yes.
Yeah.
Is he still very dangerous? Yes. Is he a threat to win this show? No.
Not so much. Yeah.
No way.
He had a hell of a run. Hell of a run. He really did.
Yes, he did. And that's why I said he has about as good a chance as I had back in 2018 of beating Flex Lewis.
Fair enough.
0.
And you had a hell of a run. All right, so Classic, I just want to get your pick for the win because we've been talking for a very long time. I'll just read the whole lineup to you, and you pick out one name you think, in your opinion, strongest chance of winning. So we have Alex Cambronero, DeAndre Campbell, Jarek Crew, Logan Franklin, Bryan Jones, Fabian Mayer, Peter Molnar, Courage Opara, Terrence Ruffin, Tony Tavares, and Danny Yunin. Who you got? Indeed.
So on paper, Terrence Ruffin is the best.
Yeah.
He's been looking off to me. I don't know, slightly
Yeah.
behind. But then whatever his new coach or whatever posted a picture the other day. He dropped 10 pounds in 9 days, and he was significantly drier.
Wow.
I don't like seeing that because he's a smaller guy to begin with. You start doing trickery where you got to drop 10 pounds in 9 days, and that worries me. I'd love to see Bryan Jones win.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
Crazy
I'd
physique.
love it. He's a freak. He's amazing. He's getting better every day. He's my favorite right now. But I would say Courage Opara is what he is. He's perfect for the division. There's not a whole lot he can do to get better. And he hasn't been, a threat to Ruffin or Bryan Jones.
Yeah.
Bryan Jones Tim's is not doing this show, is he?
No.
Yeah, to me, and Alex won it last time around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So why couldn't he win again? But I think Bryan Jones is getting appreciated, and they're going to give him the opportunity. And I think with that opportunity will be some eye-opening, and I just think because Chris Bumstead is Mr. Olympia, 6'2", Bryan Jones is more in that category.
Yeah.
I think the shorter guys are going to have a tougher time this go around.
Yeah.
So yeah, my pick, I'm probably wrong.
No.
Bryan Jones, Arnold Classic champion.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, obviously, like we said, Terrence is on paper, he was second to Bumstead. So that would mean on paper, he beats all these guys.
Yeah.
But that's assuming everyone looked the same as they did last year. And Bryan, I don't know Bryan at all. I know Alex. I know Logan. I've talked to Terrence, Danny. He's a guy I don't even know. But man, the improvements he's made, he's gotten so much fuller and rounder and kept the waist small.
Yeah.
If that means anything, if that's the ideal, if those are the ideals of classic, round, bubbly muscles and tiny, tiny joints and a taller guy, I have him winning too. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah, I love his look. It's unique. It's different. He has legs. I love his posing. It's very unorthodox.
Yeah.
Very, very different. And it's some of his photos from last year were lights out. I know people played around with them and filtered them and whatnot, but he looks filtered in a regular photo. He's that impressive.
Yeah.
So I think that's my pick. Of course, fellow 212 guy, love Alex.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him repeat and win again. His condition and his symmetry and his proportions are as good as anyone's. The unfortunate thing with him is nothing like really stands out. Like he's just that good and that put together and he's got an awesome waistline, big lats. But when it comes to freak factor, really wowing you, I think Bryan Jones is that guy. And of course, if Terrence is able to come in the condition he was last year's Olympia, then he would be the winner. I just have a hunch that things are a little off because they're doing some trickery. Anytime you see that, oh, so-and-so lost 10 pounds in 9 days, or why are you doing that? He should be on a routine right now. But we'll see. We'll see. I wish them all the best of luck.
100%.
And no offense to anyone. And you can call me an asshole if I've been just asked to analyze this situation.
Exactly.
Nothing personal.
Dude, it's never personal, guys. And if you're offended by this, we're just talking about physiques. I say this all the time. There's people on that. I will praise someone's physique, even if I don't know them, or if I know them and I know that they're not a very good person. Occasionally that happens. I'll praise the shit out of their physique if it's warranted. And if there's people I think are amazing human beings, I love them like brothers sometimes, but I will pick apart their physique if that's what it takes too, because that's what I'm here for. That's my damn job.
Yeah.
So anyway, are you going to Columbus, Jose?
I'm not.
Well, yeah, not everyone's going this time.
Yeah.
It'll be a good show. Guys, I want you all to check out the Boston Mass at the 2 E's Boston Mass on Instagram. There's a YouTube channel called the Boston Mass. Jose has so much great content on there. Q&As, interviews, workouts, traveling to different gyms around the country, all kinds of cool stuff. The Boston Mass on YouTube. And of course, last but not least, the website, thebostonmass.com, coaching services, merchandise, so much more. Check that out. And that's it, man. I thank you so much for taking the time. Nobody breaks it down quite the way you do, Jose. Seriously.
My pleasure, Ron.
Yeah.
Been fun.
All right,
we'll
guys.
be back for the Olympia as well.
Oh, dude, we're going to do a great Olympia preview. And then we'll do the race in bodybuilding in the future. That's going to be, we'll get canceled for that one. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. We appreciate it very much. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, hit the bell and all that good stuff. We'll see you next time on this edition of No Way Jose.